Yes, Eden.
I don't know, people talking like the Bucks signing Antonio Brown has been this huge mistake. There's like this weird tone to it where I don't know a team in the league who wouldn't sign up for, you're going to win a Super Bowl this year, but in year 2 he's going to implode. And you don't want that deal? I mean, everybody would take that.
No, I just think that the people who are surprised that it ended this way, that's surprising to me, because somehow, some way, Antonio Brown, it just felt like you're holding on for dear life. There's a reason why he's been on 4 teams, because there's other things in play. When he plays, he's wonderful. If you said, hey, you're going to win a Super Bowl, he's going to be one of the stars along with Gronk, you're going to sign up for that. Absolutely. And you're hoping Tom would be able to keep him kind of under his wing. I mean, that was the point that I thought. I don't know of any other quarterback where he's going to go in and he's going to be the good soldier there, the good teammate there. And, that's where you let Tom Brady down, because this is Brady. Brady vouched for you. And so I think if I'm Tom, I'm hurt by this, because that's where Antonio Brown has got to at least have a moment where you say to Tom, hey, you know what? I'm angry. I'm this. Whatever this is. I mean, that's career suicide, what just happened. Maybe a team wants to pick him up. Maybe they will. But that was Tom vouched for you. And I think that that's what Antonio Brown, the only person he needs to answer to aside from himself, is Tom Brady.
It's almost like after the first year went so well, completely incident-free, and you picked up a ring, how do you still keep that player under that same wing after it's like, okay, it already worked, and now you're free to fly?
Yeah, I know. I know.
Tough.
But, I'm on record as saying that there's something there with Antonio Brown, and I go back to the hit by Vontaze Burfict of the Bengals. After that, and I don't know if there's any proof. I don't know if he's ever been diagnosed, but there is something there. And he went from a great underdog story to a path for the Hall of Fame. And he became a personality. Mike Tomlin, that'll eventually come out, I think, one of these days, where what they dealt with, Roethlisberger and Tomlin with AB, because he became almost separate from the team. He was that big of a star and a diva, and that's why he started to bounce around. But the other stuff, when you start, there's an accumulation. There's a track record here. But it went from, Fritzy, you described it best. When you look at the Antonio Brown situation, you came up with 3 words to describe what you were watching.
Entertaining, bizarre, followed by sad.
Yeah.
Is how I experienced what I was watching.
Yeah. And I understand those emotions. You're like, okay, that's AB. Wow, that's bizarre. Security thought that he was, a fan, a streaker. Now, their backs are to the field. And all of a sudden they turn around, they got a guy with his shirt off. They think that he might be a streaker or just a fan running onto the field. And then you realize as he gives a peace out sign, like, is that it? And I don't know how important the Hall of Fame was. I don't know how important the $1 million that he was going to reach in bonuses. I don't know any of that. But all I know is in the moment, what he did, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen to somebody who's stable. And you would think, I'm with Tampa. I got a chance to get these bonuses. Okay, I might not be able to play. Now, I just didn't understand that was he benched and then Bruce Arians asked him to come back in? Was he injured and never should have been asked to come back in the game? I'm not quite sure. It's still vague, and I don't know if we're going to find out anything anytime soon. But all I know is Tom Brady is saying that we should be compassionate. Okay. Were people compassionate and understanding about him prior to this? Was anybody helping him? It feels like he could still play football. He's the guy in this. I've covered sports now for almost 40 years. And I see this happen. Every sport moves on. What's going to happen to Antonio Brown? Now, you may go, well, who cares? That's part of the process here. That's part of the problem. Hey, we love you. No, we don't care about you. Ask Johnny Manziel. How's it going? Nobody cares. But this seems to be a little bit more tragic, a little bit more serious. And I wondered about this with Meta World Peace. I wondered about this with Dennis Rodman. Even Terrell Owens. Like, you just wonder, because once you're done, nobody cares. And Antonio Brown, by all accounts, when we were around him, he was charismatic as can be. When we'd have him on at the Super Bowl, he walked in and he could light up a room. And I just hope somebody actually looks at him as a person and not a football player, a commodity, because that's really the crux of all of this. It's always been there. It's just you put another blanket over it, another blanket, another coat of paint, another coat of paint. Here we go. And then you kind of let it, okay, yeah, AB, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. It's just a matter of time. Can't help himself. Bruce Arians said it. He cannot help himself. Yes,
There's a really fine line, though, between helping someone and enabling someone. Last year the storyline was Tom Brady helped Antonio Brown, and look at how he got his life back on track. This year it's he enabled him, and now look at the implosion. Mm-hmm. It's kind of results-based, in a way, because how do you continue to help someone, but then also just allow them to do their own thing,
Well, I don't want to put all this on Brady, but Brady did co-sign on this. I think this was Tom saying, I want him here. Now, he wanted him in New England, even though the owner didn't want him. Tom vouched for Antonio Brown. But that's where AB let Tom Brady down. Because Tom Brady, putting his reputation on the line, let him stay in his house. I mean, really took him under his wing. But even with that, understanding that, he still couldn't help himself in that situation. And another team will pick him up if they think he can play. It really feels like that. Yeah, Paul.
And Brown's numbers, not huge, but he started 3 games. He was in 7 games. He had 42 catches. He averaged 6 catches per game. He was having a nice season. Yeah. The one thing for me, I guess I'm torn with is, is another chance playing football good or bad for him? Yes, you have the structure of football and the pay and a team to help you. But if you do that, doesn't it just excuse all your behaviors from the past?
I've said it for a long time. He needs help.
But is help...
No, help is not football.
Yeah.
It's not. It just covers up everything.
Like, give that roster spot to someone else.
He needs to just have... He needs to focus on what he is, haunting him. I mean, he might be bipolar. He could be... I mean, there are so many different things. And maybe he's just not a good guy. I don't know. But I don't think playing football is going to be like, oh, hey, that's going to fix everything. Because he had the ideal situation. He's with Tom Brady in Tampa. Yes,
He's already had the ideal situation a handful of times, or maybe 3 times at least in his career. And so he's already proven that he can't operate within the structure of football either, because the Steelers are as solid an organization as you'll ever find. The Patriots are, certainly they speak for themselves. And then you got Tom Brady and Bruce Arians, who couldn't be a more friendly landing spot after you blew your way out of the Raiders, doing that whole helmet thing and, your burnt feet and all of that.
Yeah. And it all adds up, because if you take a lot of these moments and isolated incidents, and then you're like, oh, okay, it's not that big a deal. And then there's, the sexual assault charges. Like, there's a lot of other things involved with him. And is it something as simple as when he got his bell rung by Vontaze Burfict? Did things change? But it's probably way before that. But he let Tom Brady down. And you could tell it in Brady's voice yesterday. You won a game in dramatic fashion, and it's an oh, by the way.